Since I was a child, I knew that I loved to cook. I won my first 4-H ribbon for Best Brownies at the Kentucky State Fair when I was only 10 years old. I grew up on a farm, and my way out of the field was into the kitchen with my mom. From learning to cook to decorating cakes, my mom inspired my culinary career. Since then, I've made cakes for country music stars, and for the past 10 years, I've served South Central Kentucky through catering and various restaurants. I'm Elizabeth, and I love to cook, and you can love to cook with me. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I own the Square Cakes and Catering, and this is Love to Cook. I love to cook, and you can love to cook with me. And today we have Sarah Shirley. Tell us a little about yourself, Sarah.
So my name's Sarah Shirley, like you said, and I, along with my family, am the owner of Growing Boys Farm. It's a farm just north of Barron County, out towards the Hiceville area. My husband and my 2 boys grow all kinds of stuff. We sell at the local farmers market, Bounty of the Barrens, and we do CSA and produce out of our farm. So.
Now, Sarah, the CSAs, do you have tell us what those are.
So a CSA, that stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and it's pretty much just a subscription to our farm. So every week for 18 weeks during the summer, you get a basket from our farm, and we do pickups either at our farm on Wednesdays or at the farmer's market on Saturdays, and you get whatever's growing and in season right then.
And I've been in your CSA.
You have, yeah.
And I really loved it. One of my favorite things, because I love to try new things, of course. And one of my favorite things was, it sounds so simple, but the romaine lettuce, which I was not used to, and ended up making this fabulous recipe wrapped in bacon with portobello mushrooms and mozzarella cheese, and we ate the time out of it. So I loved being in the CSA. I loved the newness, the freshness, all the different things that normally maybe I wouldn't pick it up in the grocery. So we really enjoyed it. So we're going to do a recipe today, and it's a hot pot. It's for those of you who aren't used to them. We grew up using pressure pans. I know you did too. So we're not scared of them, but this is the new electric pressure pan. They call them a hot pot. Everybody, what do you call yours?
I call mine the electric pressure cooker, but friends call it the Instapot. That was their name for it.
So everybody's got a name for it, and that's what we're going to use today, because maybe you don't know how, and maybe you're a little scared of it, but I've used mine, and they are easy breezy. So Sarah, this is your recipe. I might have tweaked it a little bit.
That's okay.
So we're going to do a chicken, and I have a 5-pound chicken, and it is thawed, and
but sometimes if mine is still a little frozen, I just stick it in there anyway.
That's right. Now, I cooked it both ways. I tried it both ways. So what you need to do after it's thawed, you just pull out the middle. And we're going to use this later, so don't fret. I'll tell you what to do with that later. So if you'll take the top off.
And it just twists and then lifts off usually.
And then we're just going to put the chicken in, and I'm going to put him in breast side down. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
So we're just going to lay him right in there. And then, Sarah, take it away. You're going to put the good stuff on there.
So to the chicken, I usually add about a ½ teaspoon of salt, sprinkle all over. And then dill. There's garlic powder. And these are a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of onion flakes. And then a teaspoon of dry mustard, parsley, and black pepper. And you may be thinking, well, that's a lot of different spices to throw in there, but it's kind of the same as a ranch dressing packet.
That's
kind of
right.
the
So if you're in a
it.
hurry, just get a small ranch dressing and throw it in there. That's great. Now, Sarah, you were using a pepper that you bought in the store. These are peppers that were grown at the market. I canned them because they're jalapenos and cayennes that aren't hot. Whoever thought? I did not know they'd made a jalapeno that wasn't hot. So I canned these in the season. So we're going to use mine, and you use the juice, and I chopped them up. So we're going to throw those in.
All right.
Now, Sarah's recipe originally called for butter, but I found that the chicken had so much fat in the skin that we just didn't need the extra grease in the chicken. I think if you have a smaller chicken, maybe you could put that ½ cup of butter. But for this big chicken, we didn't need it. So then we're going to put the top back on.
All right.
And this is kind of one of those set it and forget it.
Yeah, so twist it and it locks.
It locks, and then you push this little button on top. Now everybody's is a little different, but, and then you turn it on The pressure button is here, and you put it on the highest setting, which for mine is there. And then I'm going to press cook, and it's going to go. Now this chicken is going to need 20 minutes. A smaller chicken, 10. And if it's frozen, I found that it took 30 minutes.
Yeah. And you could also do thighs or legs or something like that and just adjust the time too.
You can. You just adjust your time. What I read about these pots, and most of these, some of them have even more buttons than this, and all of them cook the same. So just find one that's the right time for what you're looking for. And because when you open it up, you're going to find that you can redo a little bit if you need to. But for the most part, chicken is going to take 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't know about yours, but mine came with a little booklet with suggested times and times in there. So,
and if you lose the booklet, which I of course did, you can look it up online. Just look yours up online, Google it. Google is my best friend.
Come taste the best of local flavor that Dennison's Roadside Market can find. They raise their own produce to sell in season. Dennison's Roadside Market is located in Horse Cave, Kentucky. Love2Cook's own Elizabeth Buckley with the Square Cakes and Catering can handle your wedding reception or company banquet, serving delicious homemade food and even better desserts. Book Elizabeth for your event today. The Community Farmers Market in Bowling Green is open year-round on Tuesdays and Saturdays on Nashville Road. Shop for locally grown and produced meats, produce, dairy products, and much more. Look for Community Farmers Market on Facebook. Coy's Liquors on Stockton Road in Edmonton is a veteran-owned and family-operated business where they treat people like family and are proud to offer a variety of beer, wine, and liquor selection with cold beer always in stock. Stop in at Coy's Liquors today.
So 10 minutes has gone by. Our chicken is done, and we're going to see what we've got. Sarah, the big reveal.
All right.
So there you have it. This beautiful chicken and all the juice, and we're going to use every bit of this chicken. We're going to use the skin, we're going to use the bone, we're going to use everything. So what we're going to start out doing is we're going to dip it out. If you don't have one of these, I strongly suggest that you have one. And it may fall apart. This chicken is done, and if it does, see there? So he's going to fall apart, and that's okay because we're going to pick him off the bone. So we're going to get all of him out. 10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. You can't go through the drive-thru in that length of time.
I mean, seriously, I set my Instant Pot and then fix a side, and we've got supper ready.
That's right. I made some rice to go with this. You can make burritos. I mean, this is endless. You can put this on salad. We've got some salad greens to put it on. The uses for this, and for the record, this was 79 cents a pound. It was $3.50 mm-hmm. with about $2 worth of spices. You've got lunch, supper for how many days you think, Sarah? 3?
We feed a family of 4. We put in a chicken and do it in the Instant Pot, and we usually have it for supper that night, and then we do another meal with it the next night. So we feed 2 meals for 4 people usually on a chicken.
I see people selling, they actually sell a baggie with a chicken and the ingredients in it. I have no idea what people are selling that for. I also cannot possibly imagine it. I cannot possibly imagine. So we're just gonna pick the bones. So if it's got a lot of little bones in it, I just toss it to the side. We're gonna get out the big meat. We're gonna leave the skin in here. We're gonna use that. There's the neck. Sarah, now, do you all grow outside, or do you grow in a high tunnel?
We do both. We have one high tunnel. It's a 30 by 72 high tunnel that we grow all through the winter and in the spring. And then we switch over to in the field for all summer long, and then back to the high tunnel in the fall. So.
And now, I don't think I'm wrong, you have award-winning tomatoes.
We do. Our boys have won.
The growing boys.
The growing boys, our 2 boys, have won the county fair multiple years in a row for best tomatoes. So we have been next at the state fair the last year. So this year we're coming back with good tomatoes. So.
And now, when you started, you said it was 10 years ago. When you started, yep. The boys were how old?
Let's see, our youngest was about 3 at the time, and our oldest was 5 or 6, something like that.
And you homeschool those boys?
We do homeschool, yeah, which means I'm fairly busy most of the time. Yeah.
Fairly, you think?
Yeah, we do homeschool our boys as well.
I have such respect for people who homeschool because I just don't believe I could have done that. Of course, you've met my boys.
Sometimes it is a little trying, but I do have good boys. So
you do have good boys. The boys are, but they are growing.
They are, yeah.
Are they still helping in the high tunnel?
They are. They were out helping plant yesterday. I had a kiddo digging holes and one packing dirt, and so yeah, they're a huge help. I'm not sure I could do it without them. So
now here's this lovely breast, and look, are you all seeing just how tender this meat is? It's just falling apart. This would make good chicken salad, and chicken salad is, well, chicken is always better if you cook it on the bone. Buying those bags of breast is fine if you're in a hurry, and I do it, but 10 minutes to have it on the bone, and the nutrients are so good, and I'm just, the bones are just sliding out of it. It's not like I'm having a hard time here. And it's so tender you can kind of feel it and make sure there's no more in there. And I have one leg left, and then we're done. So even taking the bones out, it just wasn't that hard. And so there's all your meat, and here's your bones. And I probably left a little more than I would, because we're going to use these bones. We're going to use this skin, and we're going to do yet another thing with them. We're going to make some bone broth. But let's see what we can do here with this. So, okay, Sarah, we're ready to eat, and we're ready for chicken. So maybe we have some Spanish rice.
All right.
And tortilla shells. What do you think about that? What can we do with that?
So we do tortillas a lot at our house because it's quick and easy when you've already got the chicken. So sometimes at my house, I just set it out and we have make your own burrito night.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I bet the boys love it too.
Mm-hmm. That way they can put on it what they like. And then I say, choose a vegetable because you need a vegetable on that burrito.
Because they wouldn't if you couldn't. So we'll just take some, and you grab some chicken.
All right.
I'll grab some rice. I think I want to put rice in the bottom.
And I always fill mine too full. Always.
Me too.
And then I can't close it.
I love it. And then we'll put a little cheese on there. And I think some salsa would be great right on top of that. So there's that meal. And then we could have just rice. And put our chicken on there.
A little chicken on top of that.
Chicken and rice. This would be a great meal to take to work. Put it in a little Tupperware container, warm it up when you get there. Now you've got chicken and rice. And then, Sarah, I understand that your greens will be out soon.
They are. We planted, the past 2 days we've been planting non-stop, so we have tons of lettuce coming soon.
So I got these from the farmer's market in Bowling Green, but these, you will have your greens out. And now, when is Bounty of the Barrens?
So right now, during the winter, we have 2 market days a month, the first and third Saturday of every month. And then starting April 28th, we'll be back on the square every Saturday until October.
And you'll have fresh greens?
We will.
How's same for tomatoes?
Usually everybody wants to know that, but usually they're end of June for us. So.
Yeah, unless you're doing hydroponic, tomatoes are out of the question. Yeah. So we're going to throw some chicken on here.
On that. Let me get my fingers in there, sorry.
And then how about some radish and some more protein, some farm fresh eggs, and a delicious salad. Now there's 3 meals off this chicken. So for the $4 plus the $2, $2 in spices, you've got 3 meals here. So I think that's a great value.
Yeah. Or if you're one of those ladies who does the salads in a jar, you could do a chicken and do like weeks worth of salad with that chicken in
Yeah, because they don't use a lot of protein in those.
No, but yeah, you could stick those in.
Awesome.
Coy's Liquors on Stockton Road in Edmonton is a veteran-owned and family-operated business where they treat people like family and are proud to offer a variety of beer, wine, and liquor selection with cold beer always in stock. Stop in at Coy's Liquors today. The Community Farmers Market in Bowling Green is open year-round on Tuesdays and Saturdays on Nashville Road. Shop for locally grown and produced meats, produce, dairy products, and much more. Look for Community Farmers Market on Facebook. Come taste the best of local flavor that Denison's Roadside Market can find. They raise their own produce to sell in season. Denison's Roadside Market is located in Horse Cave, Kentucky. Love2Cook's own Elizabeth Buckley with a Square Cakes and Catering can handle your wedding reception or company banquet, serving delicious homemade food and even better desserts. Book Elizabeth for your event today.
So we cooked our chicken, we made our meals, and now we have bones and middle, we had gizzards and livers and hearts, whatever this poor chicken had. So we're going to open those up, and we're not going to waste anything. We're not going to waste a bit. So we're going to dump this back in the pot, and I left in the juice. Now you can take this out. You can take out the juice that was in the chicken if you want to use it for something else. But I tend to like to leave mine in.
I like mine. If I'm doing traditional bone broth, sometimes I don't do with all that, but I like the flavor of that kind of vinegary, peppery in with mine too.
I do too. Back in goes all those bones and all the stuff that you would have thrown out. Well, why? Why are you doing that? Leftover radishes, who needs them? And the vegetables are going in, onions, roots, everything. You're going to strain all this. So whatever you put in, you're just going for flavor. I mean, you want it clean, but use it all. By all means, there's nutrients in every part of that onion. So I'm putting in a whole onion because we only had, traditionally you would need 2 pounds of bones to make true bone broth. But don't waste them. Either you can save up, you could stick these in a freezer bag and save up till you have 2 pounds. But then, you know, you've got them in the freezer, maybe you forget them. So I like to just do them when I've got them. Mm-hmm. Do them while I have them. I'm going to throw in a bouillon cube.
Now, I love those bouillon cubes.
I'm throwing in a bouillon cube. And
they just add flavor that
they do.
Like.
And I'm not adding any other salt. Mm-hmm. All the salt that was in there was that 1 little teaspoon that we put in earlier. This is fresh turmeric. Now, fresh turmeric is a bulb. It's good for fibromyalgia. It's good for gout. It's good for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's an anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
So if you're using bone broth, a lot of people who have issue with what's the word I'm looking for? Autoimmune diseases.
Yes.
Have inflammation, and that turmeric's really good for inflammation.
It is. And most every farmer's market, I don't know about the grocery stores, but we have a fella in Bowling Green at the farmer's market that sells it, and ginger, and I adore it. My son has the gout. He uses it all the time. So in it goes. And it's got a peppery flavor. Got some elephant garlic. Sarah, do you know how to tell whether garlic is from this country or another country?
No, I don't.
If it doesn't have roots, it's not from here.
Oh.
So when you go to buy your garlic, be sure to buy garlic that has roots on it, because you know you want to buy from here. So in goes the garlic.
I dig mine out of the garden, so I'm not sure.
And now is the time. Bone broth is a magnificent thing where you can get rid of all the junk that you needed to clean out of your refrigerator anyway. Sweet potatoes, you didn't get around to cooking them. Into the bone broth. And look, that sweet potato's been around for a minute. I'm going to cut him up a little bit more than some of the other stuff. But yeah, gone. Celery, I was going to use it, didn't get it done. Gone. Carrot, you know we all got them. Everybody has them in their refrigerator. Gone.
Now for us, this is where everything that wasn't pretty enough to go to the farmer's market goes into a pot at our house.
That's right. Potato, gonna do it, didn't get it done. Gone. Some more radishes. What was up with me and those radishes? I don't even like radishes, right? That's my fiance liking the radishes, so he bought a great big bag, and I've got tons of them into the broth. So there's all that goodness. And on top of that, I'm going to add some red wine vinegar, and I bought it with the Mother. The Mother is it's kind of murky in there,
yeah,
and it's really good for you. This is a good thing to have around the house for just all that ails you. And we're going to put about 1/3 of a cup.
I like to use apple cider vinegar with the Mother in it. That's my favorite.
Anything with the Mother is good. And we're talking about, my brother lived in Bangkok, Thailand for 25 years. And there, they use bone broth like we use meat. And he was telling me the other day that he drove all the way across the city to this little old woman under a little old umbrella on the side of the street because her bone broth was the best. Mm-hmm. And once that's how they build up from this. So if you're not using it, you're just losing out on so much flavor. And I even use my broth to cook my macaroni.
Oh yeah, I did a pasta dish last night, and I just threw in like 2 cups of bone broth with my pasta and cooked it in that. And it's such a rich flavor, like it's just
so rich that I use half the cheese.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually saving calories on top of, because this, I mean, you wouldn't think a bunch of vegetables and some stock would be rich, but this is rich.
Mm-hmm. But even aside from being rich, bone broth is really healing to your intestinal tract, to your gut, and it really just helps your body to heal. So sometimes if if I've eaten like junk food for a couple of days, or after Christmas, I'm like, oh, I just feel sluggish. Sometimes for breakfast and lunch, I'll just have a big mug of bone broth and then have supper after that. And I have friends too that it just heals your gut and kind of helps, it just makes you feel better all over.
I think that we've gotten away. When I was growing up, we just normally did that. My mother never threw anything away. We always drank the juices off. But it seems like we've gotten away from that.
Yeah.
And in the cold weather, when you're not feeling, especially with the flu that's going around, I'm not trying to say this is going to cure the flu, but maybe if you're drinking it,
yeah,
it'll help you stay away from it.
Oh, listen, every time my boys are sick, I'm like, let's just get out the broth here, more broth, seriously.
So we're going to put about a pitcher of water in there. I'm going to put as much as I can because we've got a lot of goodness in there. And we'll just put the top on. And now in the pot, if you put this, let's back up just a little bit. This whole recipe could be done in a crock pot, the chicken, everything.
Yeah.
So if this is in the crock pot, we're going to do it for 12 hours at least overnight, because we want the vegetables, we want everything to just go down. And when you're done, it'll just all be mush. Even the bones, when it's good and done, when the bone broth is good and done, when you touch those bones, they're just going to dissipate into bone meal in your hand. They're just going to go away. They're not going to be hard at all. So we're going to let that cook, and we'll be right back.
Come taste the best of local flavor that Denison's Roadside Market can find. They raise their own produce to sell in season. Denison's Roadside Market is located in Horse Cave, Kentucky. Love2Cook's own Elizabeth Buckley with the Square Cakes and Catering can handle your wedding reception or company banquet, serving delicious homemade food and even better desserts. Book Elizabeth for your event today. The Community Farmers Market in Bowling Green is open year-round on Tuesdays and Saturdays on Nashville Road. Shop for locally grown and produced meats, produce, dairy products, and much more. Look for Community Farmers Market on Facebook. Coy's Liquors on Stockton Road in Edmonton is a veteran-owned and family-operated business where they treat people like family and are proud to offer a variety of beer, wine, and liquor selection with cold beer always in stock. Stop in at Coy's Liquors today.
So when you're done, you strain this off. Strain all those vegetables out, all the bones, and this is what you're left with, bone broth. And this is just a small portion of it, but so delicious and so good for so many things. And the loss, the amount of volume you got from that one little $4 chicken is amazing. So Sarah, what is your happiest food memory?
All right, so my happiest food memory, well, my favorite food is gravy and tomatoes.
Oh, yum.
And people
Yes.
who are not from here look at me like, what are you even talking about? But gravy and tomatoes is my favorite food. And every Christmas, we do breakfast at my parents' house. And my mama buys tomatoes for me just for Christmas so I can have gravy and tomatoes for Christmas morning. So.
Oh, yum. You know, people used to come to my mother's house. When we were young, people always came to my mom's house to eat. It was just, they would just show up on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And Mama would say, I think so-and-so's coming for breakfast today. And I know she never knew. She just had that feeling. But she had pink gravy. And people would say, I'm going to Helen's because I'm going to get some of that pink gravy. And people were like, well, how's that pink gravy? My mother, whatever we had for supper at night, whatever was left over, she threw in the gravy. So if we had fried potatoes, she threw it in the gravy. But if we had Mexican hamburgers, she threw it in the gravy, and it turned the gravy pink.
Oh.
And therefore, there is how we got the pink gravy. And it was down at Bon Air, it was quite popular.
Well, I don't know that I've had the pink gravy, except for with
You're
my
too
tomatoes.
young.
Yeah.
You're too young. You'll have to tell your mother to fix you some pink gravy. She'll know what it was. And so your funniest memory?
My funniest memory is my boys were little, and I, had just become the stay-at-home mom, and I was doing all kinds of fun recipes, so I found this recipe called fish stick tater tot casserole, and I thought that was a good idea. So I made fish stick tater tot casserole. If you see a recipe for fish stick tater tot casserole, just throw it away, because don't be making that. Nobody liked it. It was not good. It was, yeah.
When we lived in Tennessee, the boys were very young. They were like 7 and 3, something like that. And I fixed turkey chili. Oh, it was terrible.
Which sounds good, right?
It does sound good. I must have done something wrong. Anyway, so we threw it out to the, back then you just threw things out to the dog. Now you would never do that. Threw it out to the dog, and later Brent came in and said, Mom made the dog sick. So turkey chili, not really on my list of things either.
Yeah.
So many things. But so much fun.
Yeah.
So many good memories around food.
Yeah.
And so my hope is that if you're not making good memories associated with breakfast, lunch, or supper, or the weekend, try it. Cooking is fairly cheap.
Yeah.
Fairly easy.
Yeah. And for us, that's our family time. We make a point to sit down and have dinner together, and we talk about how was your day, what did you do today. Like, that's our family time. And especially after we've all worked a long, hard day, that good, nutritious meal is important to our family.
And so much easier to do. Yes, you can go out, and I'm not saying don't ever go out. We love to go out and eat sometimes.
Treat, but
that's right. It's a treat. Being at home around your own table lends to conversations that aren't so hustle and bustle in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And there's no replacing it. And when your children get older, when they think back, they'll have their fun memories. And that means so much to me.
We hope. We sure hope.
Well, my boys do, although Brent says that all he ever did was wash dishes, but that means I cooked.
Oh, yeah, at least you cooked.
I cooked. I had to have cooked
too.
sometime. He washed a lot of dishes.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, it has been so lovely to have you here today. I'm so glad you came by. The meal, the chicken recipe was delicious.
Thanks.
And the bone broth is refreshing and helpful. And I think everybody should try it at least once.
I agree.
If you can't, let me just throw it out there that there are folks that do sell bone broth at some of the farmers markets. If you're not able to do it, maybe you could just pick some up. It's a really helpful thing to have around the house.
Yeah.
So I'm Elizabeth. I love to cook, and I hope you'll love to cook with me.